I want to introduce FunPlus a little bit. FunPlus is a mobile and social game company. We headquartered in Beijing and San Francisco. We develop games and also we publish games globally. A little bit about me. My name is Andy Zhong. I'm the founder of the company. I also the CEO for the company. A little bit about my background. I am probably one of the few game designer and engineering presenting in the conference. I think you guys should enjoy another talking already about VC and marketing and not of how to make money, right? How to raise money. So I hope I can bring some fresh ideas as a game designer and also founder for the company. So I have a question before I start, right? How many developers we have here? How many people developing games? Wow, nice. We have a lot of developers here. How many developers want to make your game a top grossing game? Top 10, top 20? Whoever doesn't raise your hand, I just treat it as not honest. Okay, for the developers. I know everyone want to create a top grossing game. Every game creator want to have his own game to be enjoyed by most of people, right? That's why I joined the game industry. I want everyone to play my game. But being a top game, it's not that easy, in my experience at least. I'm really lucky to be in that position before. I could say, I think it's not a lucky element and also another passion, right? I want to talk a little bit my experience when we make games in top grossing. So when I joined the company in early 2007, we're making apps and games for MySpace and Facebook. I joined a company called Rocky, which is a really, really small company at that time. It was around 10 or 15 people. I lead a really small team. We created an app called Birthday Cards. We created a game called Zoo World. Both of them are really luckily in top 10 in 2007 and 2008. So we don't know why. I think the game is fun and the app is really good. But I think when I look back, right, I think it's not of elements is because the platform is early. The user want content. So I think when I started the company by myself in 2010, so I started thinking, even like half a year before I started the company, I'm thinking, why I need to start a gaming company? Right? I can work in a big game company to create awesome game, and I can only focus on really dedicated part to make an awesome game, right? And then the big company will do the part for me. I can enjoy all the people playing my game. Then why I need to create a gaming company. The second one is what game we will create. Because back in 2010 when I started the company, Facebook is really, really, really crowded. It's like the mobile right now. And also in early 2010, mobile is pretty early. People don't believe mobile games can make millions of dollars per day, even not per month. So I think that's a really good period of time when I'm thinking about, okay, how to create a game, how to make valuable content, because the market is crowded, because users are picky. Users only want high-quality content, right? As a small company as well, as a startup, how I can monetize my game, how I can create my company culture to make the first game successful. So I think that when I look back, that's a golden period which I enjoy because you focus, it's all about quality, right? It's all about, because you know without high quality, it won't work. So all the team, all the people are focused on high quality. So really luckily, we create first game in FunPlus. The game gains millions of users in the first year. So I think we attribute the success to three important parts. The first one is really focus on the quality about the game itself, and the quality about how to monetize users. Maybe it's not a good way to say that, say how to bring a quality to monetize users. Because sometimes as a gamer for myself, if you ask me to pay money, I feel it's really stupid. I feel, wow, I would delete this game, right? So I think as a gamer, when I want to pay money, I want to feel I pay at that time, that moment, happily for the high quality content. So I think the monetization is also really important for the game design. I think the second thing is about the community. Not that people talk about the community, but we see very few games are extremely successful in community. We see thousands of games released every month. But if you look at their fan page, if you look at their community, they don't support that well. Even some of the games are from big company. And also, if you look at their engagement, if you look at the way they try to bring content, use the method to engage community, it's not that smart. So that means we don't do the basic stuff right? But if I look at some of the really successful games, their community is extremely well managed and successful. That's what we focused on for the first game. Of course, the third one is, I would say, is operate globally. Not of developers can argue that. They say, oh, I can easily make money in Vietnam. I can easily make money in Japan. I can make money in specific countries. But if you look, not in 1 or 2 years, right? If you look at 5 or 10 years, the trending is, the mobile gaming, the trending is global. Even when we look back in 2006, right, people always believe, okay, social network will existing, multiple social network will exist. But the fact is, not all social network went away after a few years. Not all social network we see in Europe, in Latin America, in another place, they went away. Only very few states, right? But the games are even more international. I think if we look at the 5 years time in spanning, games need to be global. So if you are not taking this challenge soon, you will have a hard time in the future, right? I think operating games in global, it's a necessity. So I want to go through, briefly go through my slides, introduce a little bit how to operate in games, how we operate in games, and also learn from all the people here. So this is the company introduction. We funded in 2010. We have around 400 employees in Beijing and San Francisco. We actually have more than 100 million users in the past 5-6 years for all our games. So I think this is an overview about the mobile market. I don't want to talk too much about numbers because if you remember when I start the session, I say how many people want to be a top grossing game, how big the mobile gaming market is. But that's a little bit misleading, right? If we look at numbers, it's so good. But if we break into details, it's so hard. If you break into developers, you break into genres, you look at how much games released every day, every month, how much each install you pay, and how much people install games in their phone. People don't install a lot of games in the phone right now. They only play very few games they like. So, but still, it's good. It's still, numbers are good. Numbers are good. So if we look at all these numbers, app downloads, all these ones. So this is about how many mobile games are submitted. It's growing really fast. So I want to start with these slides, right? Like, what's the cost to develop games? I think back in 2010, when I started the company, I funded the company by myself because the game only cost in total less than 500,000 to develop before when it started making money. So Ravio spent around even less than what we spent for the first game, around 100K to 120K, right? But if you look at how much money people spend in 2015, average top grossing game are spent 4 to 5 million. And there's a quote from Kevin Cho, CEO of Kevin. I talk with Kevin frequently as well. They spend a lot of money in making games, right? They spend like more than 10 million per game. They make only for R&D, not counting the marketing cost. So it's making game right now. It's really expensive. Then we look at how much money people spend in marketing. I think we already realized we can see how many marketing companies are around the industry. They do make a lot of money. People spend a lot in marketing. The pay by loyalty users are really high. Pay by paid users are extremely high because not all players delete the games as well if your game is not good enough. So if we look at the investment, I see a lot of investment in 2013 and 2014, but in 2015, it's declining really fast. But I don't want to create the impression, say, okay, gaming industry is big, but we suck, right? Because making games is so expensive, marketing is so expensive, and funding is decreasing, right? What I want to say is, it's just maturing. The industry is maturing. That's the trend, right? How to be good? How to win in the industry? So combining the experience we have about making games and publishing, we launched a program called Population Plus. So the special about Population Plus is 3 things. The first one, before we publish the game, we make the decision if we want to support the game financially. Why we do that? Because we feel publishing and the running game as a service, it's not a few months cooperation. It's a few years. It's really hard to find people you can trust. It's hard to find developers, and also developers hard to find a publisher because we only have limited time. We need to focus on the work, right? It's really hard to find a trust partner. But the reality is, to make a game successful, you guys need to work for a few years. That's the reality. So that means you need to make friendship with you between the publisher and developer, right? So as a company, the best way to make a good relationship is we support financially from really early beginning. Because that creates 2 things. The first one, we take risk together, right? The secondly, we share the common interest. So the model we have is, if we trust the developers who can create an awesome game, we will ask, if you want a financial support, we are willing to do that. But if you don't, it's also okay, right? If you want to raise money, you don't need to spend time. You don't need to convince an investor, say, okay, that's my plan. I will make 100 million after 3 years. You have too much pressure, right? We give you money. The reason is we trust you, and we want to be a long-term relationship. So we launched a fund with the publishing program. It's a 50 million fund. We want to support the partners financially as the first step. The second step is how to use the knowledge together to create an awesome game, right? So what we provide is two things. The first one, we provide a great community for your game to do another testing, to do another focus group before you actually come to another conclusions, before you even do geo beta. Secondly, we put a lot of free-to-play experience we have, and also the core game experience, monetization experience. We share that. In the past 5 or 6 years, so we released multiple games. We make casual games and simulation games by ourselves. Just few numbers. Our simulation games has still, by today, we still have around 5 million DAU. In Facebook, we have more than 50 million fans in our fan page, which I will share a screenshot just for some of our games on the fan page. We manage the community really, really good. We have a lot of players in the simulation and casual family. Secondly, we launched a few games from our partners. We launched a game called Dollar Arena in Southeast Asia. I think if people, if we have players from Southeast Asia, they will know that this game has been top grossing file for almost half a year in 2015 in Southeast Asia, in most of the region, in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand. It has been top 1 grossing for almost 1 month in Singapore and Malaysia. So this is a card battle game. So we know card battle game monetization really, really well. We also launched a card battle game from NetEase in some of the region in Hong Kong, Southeast Asia as well. It has been in top 20 grossing for a while. So I think we have certain experience in some of the key player community we share with the partners we have. Before I go to the examples, I think the last one I say is how to, because I say operating games globally is a necessity. But how to operate games globally, it's not an easy task. It's spent years to build the infrastructure, right? I think FunPlus is a really unique company because we build a global company with a really, really open-minded culture, combining East and West. It's also working in a really agile environment, which we move fast and we make decisions really fast. So I think with the infrastructure we built in last few years, and also with all the people from East and West, we believe we can work with partners to operating games in most of the regions in West, and also in other regions in East, including China. We are based, all headquarters in China. We work with a lot of China partners, and also Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong as well. So we cover most of the region in West and a lot of region in Asia as well, and also keep growing and expanding. I just want to share a few examples. We did a partnership in Population Plus. We announced the program 1 year ago. In last 1 year, we built a relationship with 3 to 4 companies. So I listed 2 companies here. The one of them is from West. The studio is called Server. Ash is the creator for Race, and he want to build an awesome free-to-play IP for his company. So we are excited. We invested in the company. We work together really closely. We also invest a Singapore company recently. We announced the news a few days ago. It's called 12 Briefs. It's awesome group of developers and producer and the designer. We're also really excited about the game. It's really unique. It's pretty Asia-focused game. So this is 2 examples here. We have another 2 partners. We don't put here because for some confidential reasons. But this is the 4 partners we built in last 1 year after we are launching the program. So it means we work with very few developers who really want to create IP by themselves. They are looking their company in years, not in, say, that's my game. Can you take it and take it to top 10 grossing? I say we can't. It's so hard. It's not easy to take a game to a top grossing, top 10 or top 20, even top 50. It's not that easy. So we work with them in years. We build IP, we create a community. We work with regions one by one. We will, for example, William Force. They're based in Singapore. They have not experience in Southeast Asia. So we will focus on Southeast Asia at first. Then we will come to Japan, China. Eventually, we will come to West. So we will do step by step. We will manage the IP community and also make this game powerful and fun eventually. So this is some information I want to share about our games. So I mentioned about how we operate games globally and how we support a different language. So this is game. The first game we created when we started the company is called Family Fun. We operate the game in multiple versions. We have around 7 versions. We have Arabic version, we have Turkey version, we have like even French version, we have Dutch version as well, Germany version. So we run this game really, really locally. I shared a screenshot about our Arabic version. It has over 7 million fans for the fan page. It's really active. This game overall has more than 12 million fans in Facebook, just the one IP. So I think by operating at a scale and operating globally are really, really important. And also, we always take a local region focus at first, right? We always do region by region. Like say, William Force, we start with Southeast Asia, then we expand. For our games, Family Fun, when we start this game, we start in Europe, we start in Germany, we start in Netherlands, we start in French. Some of the games, we start immediately from US, English-speaking countries. So we take a different strategy, and then we expand globally. We serve the core users at first. Because if you want to create a top grossing game, you need to focus on the core users at first. That's my experience. All the games in my career, it went to top grossing. We don't know. We never imagined that. But we focus on the community. We focus on the core users who want to invest in the games we create at first. When they are so excited, we will find the result will be surprising. So that's the sharing I have. We also hiring, publishing. I think that's investing as well. So we combine the publishing with investment, with the domain expertise. We call it Publishing Plus. So thanks, Anand.
Thank you very much for your talk.